Welcome to Charity Village Connects. Today we're celebrating the 2023 winners of the Charity Village National Awards. Joining me is Misha Goforth, Manager of Social Research and Development at Pride at Work Canada, and winner of the Best Nonprofit Employer for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for an organization under 20 staff. Congratulations and welcome, Misha.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Well, tell us about your organization and what made you decide to submit a nomination.
So Pride at Work Canada is a nonprofit that's member serving. We work with just under 300 employers from across the country to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, and basically make workplaces that are inclusive of all employees, regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity and gender expression. So this is really an area that we specialize in terms of the work we do every day and the content we put out there. And so that leads exactly into why we wanted to submit for the third year in a row to participate in the awards. And it's really about continuing to be a part of that conversation that we're, advising on every day in our work with our proud partners, and making sure that we're demonstrating what we're doing internally at the same time, because this is really something that we work on every day internally as well.
Well, I must say, you certainly have impressed the judges. This is, I think, at least your second win, if not more, that you've won in this category. What do you think makes your nomination stand out year after year?
Yeah, so you're right. This is the second time that we won. And it was really surprising. We were really excited to have this. The award means a lot to us, as I mentioned, because this is the work we do every day around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so this is a chance for us to showcase what is it that we're doing inside and making sure that we're walking the walk and doing everything that we're advising as well. So I think some of the things that I think help us stand out in that area, I know that when we last were on your podcast for winning the award in 2021, I think we were talking about creating these action plans for ourselves internally that would really guide our work forward in a couple specific areas. So around anti-Black racism, around truth and reconciliation, accessibility, and then anti-poverty. So now at this time, these action plans have been in action. We've been working through the action plans for the last 2 years now, I think. And I think that some of the pieces of work that have come out of those are really what's contributed to having a great work environment. So in particular, I can highlight our anti-poverty action plan is where a lot of this work to increase equity and inclusion internally has taken place. So, for example, we were able to roll out a group retirement savings plan, which is something that, anecdotally working in the nonprofit sector and having many friends who do is not usually something that we have access to in the sector. It's not a conversation that I think we hear a lot in nonprofit organizations. So, getting to have that rolled out this past year has been a really big win. We were also certified as a living wage employer in Ontario, which was a really big deal for us. And we have staff who work in different provinces in the country. So we're certified in Ontario, but making sure that every staff member has access to that as well. And something exciting as well in the past year is we published a really large research report called Lead with Pride, where we spoke with queer, trans, two-spirit professionals from different sectors and different industries who have reached leadership positions to talk about, what pathways have you taken to leadership? What were some of the barriers and supports along the way? And nonprofit was included as one of the industries that we spoke with. And so that research helped us kind of identify the barriers that folks in our community do face in their careers, and then turn the look back inwards again to say, how are we ensuring that these barriers aren't existing in our workplace and in the careers of folks who kind of come through the organization? So we have really intentional funding available for professional development. We have group professional development as well, and professional development plans for each staff member, which, again, speaking as someone who's worked in the nonprofit sector, that's just not something that's always talked about in the workplace. And, you know, budgets are always limited and capacity for work is always limited. We care a lot about the work that we're doing at the community level. And so it's easy to kind of forget about longevity of career and where are we all trying to grow towards and what are our personal goals. So that's something that I've really seen prioritized in the last year or so. And so it's really exciting to kind of get to be a part of all that.
Well, absolutely. It's so validating, I think, to not just be recognized once, but then after the accomplishments of your action plans to actually come back and have it validated again. How extraordinary. What does being named a winner for this award mean to you personally, as well in a more large sense, your organization?
Yeah, personally, I mean, I know that each person on the team feels really proud. We didn't expect to win again. We were really proud already that we were finalists. And so seeing the announcement just yesterday, I think, was it's really just like a pat on the back. It's like a little round of applause for the work that we're doing. And it's kind of funny to be a part of something that I see the impact among coworkers and different, you know, direct reports that I've had, but then also benefiting myself and knowing that I am working somewhere where I feel really empowered and affirmed. And I know that, again, in the nonprofit sector, you always care about the work that you're doing, and you're always surrounded by folks who are like-minded, moving in that same direction. But knowing as well that as individuals, we're growing forward also is really meaningful. And so I think that's the personal level. But in terms of being an organization, having this recognition, I think, again, it's really just important to hold ourselves to this standard and continue being a part of the conversation. I mentioned that, you know, this is the work we do every day for different, for the content we put out in terms of our webinars and consulting services for employers in Canada. So it's really important for us to get to showcase that everything that we're advising on and everything that we're putting out there as best practices, we're also finding a way to implement internally, even though we're a very small organization. There's a lot of things I think that feel impossible for small organizations to do because capacity is limited. And in the nonprofit sector, again, we want to put all of our capacity towards the impact on the ground that we're trying to have. But we're an organization who's also staffed entirely by members of the 2S LGBTQI plus community. So it's really, really important that we are able to kind of take the time and make sure that our staff are doing well also. And that that as members of the community, this is an affirming workplace that we can have. So getting to showcase that and kind of lead by example is really great. And we're really happy to have the award this year.
Well, how wonderful to have it acknowledged that you truly do walk your talk and are a model and role model within the sector. So congratulations. Thank you for all the wonderful work you've been doing and making our sector a much better place. And clearly you're making workplaces across the sector and Canada much better places as well. So congratulations again on a spectacular win, number 2, and wish you the very, very best. I hope your teams are celebrating.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we definitely will be celebrating this for quite a while.
Well, thank you again for joining us on Charity Village Connects.
Thanks for having me.